Welcome back to the Uninformed College Football Rants podcast. I'm your host, Jack Flanagan. This is my co-host, Keith.
Hi.
Why don't you introduce our podcast guest this week?
Well, our podcast this week is Penn State superfan Giuseppe G. Randazzo.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you for welcoming me back for a second year. I'm honored, and I so look forward to the conversation. Can't wait.
All right, why don't we start with the top 10? Number 1, Michigan. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Washington. Number 5, Oklahoma. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, Florida State. Number 8, North Carolina. 9, Oregon. 10, Notre Dame. Honorable mention will go to Oregon State this week, and the dishonorable mention will go to Michigan State. What do you think?
What do you think?
I enjoy. Do me a favor. I was writing that down. So, Jack, that was good. So you get Michigan 1, Georgia 2. Can you tell me what your 3 and 4 was? The only ones I missed.
Ohio State and Washington at number 4.
Gotcha. Very good. And I like the dishonorable mention with the Michigan State. They are a blundering, falling apart team. And
Yeah,
it's getting worse.
They're a mess.
They're a mess. Yes. No, I like your top 10. I'm not sure. I've always been a big fan of if the team that won it last has not yet lost, I keep them at 1. So for me, I'd flip me personally, I'd flip your 1 and 2. I don't think Georgia did anything to deserve to be below Michigan. And the others I think are decent. You know, of course, I'd push for my PSU guys to be higher, but I think it's fair. We haven't really proven anything yet. I like it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're going to see imminently, right?
And the next hour and a half, it starts. That's exactly right.
Why don't we start with our first agenda item with USC? What happened?
I don't mean to be disruptive, but wasn't that an elegant segue to the Penn State topic?
Yeah, Ohio State, Penn State.
What's going to happen, G?
Oh, last year you asked me, I deferred and wanted to hear you guys first. So I'll go first this year. This year I'm more nervous than I've been in past years. It's been the past 4, 5, 6 years we've struggled, whereas we've had leads going into the fourth quarter, and we just found ways to lose. I hope this year is a flip of the switch and a flip of the story where maybe they're at home, they have a lead, and we actually fight our way back. I think we have the talent this year finally to beat them. I think if it's a neutral site or at home at Penn State or Beaver Stadium, we would win. I am nervous because it is at Ohio State, and this is truly the first big game our stud quarterback, Drew Aller, has faced in his collegiate career as a starter, and it's back in his home state. So the spotlight will be bright. I hope they can pull it out, and I'm going to go with Penn State not only to cover the 4.5, but to win by 3 at Ohio State.
Okay. Well, what I've noticed is Penn State, they haven't really played anyone, so we don't really know how good they are. What I've noticed about Ohio State is last few years, Ohio State's been top tier elite. This year, I'm not so sure about it. And I've noticed that their secondary is also really weak, so I think Penn State could pull it off. But the thing is, I don't know how good Penn State or how good their defense is. Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison Jr. might just run all over them.
No, the defensive line is stout and is going to disrupt Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, and Ohio State's offensive line isn't that good. Marvin Harrison can't do anything if, the D-line gets to Kyle McCord in, 5 seconds.
Yeah, Jack, you point out some really, really good things. You're very good at this. But you said the defensive backs, the defensive backs of Ohio State is struggling to a degree. And their best defensive back, I believe, is a junior. I just heard this morning is out, which also helps us. I think the offensive line of Ohio State is weaker than they've been in past years. I think that's a bonus for us because, to your point, our defensive line, while not as big as in Michigan necessarily, we're incredibly fast. We are, by some leading analysts, we're number 1, number 2 defense in the league in college football this year. So it'll be interesting. And you're right, but Marvin Harrison Jr., I wanted to bring him up, and I'm glad you did. To me, he's, if not one of the best college football player in the land. He's an unbelievable talent, which will go top 3 next year. So it'll be a good game. Hopefully it lives up to the billing, and we see a Penn State victory in the end.
So if we're describing your mental state, it's hopeful but extremely anxious.
I think that's fair. I'm going to pop a few packs here now for you Joe fans.
And yeah, what I'm saying is, like, I don't know. I feel like Ohio State has the best, like, wide receiver core in the country, without a doubt. Like,
so what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go Ohio State 20-17.
Okay.
Penn State 24, Ohio State 17.
Well, two to three, or two out of three is Penn State, so we'll see. Jack, I appreciate it. Keith, I appreciate it more. Next topic. Good job, Jack.
USC. What happened last week against Notre Dame?
Well, this is one I will kick off to you guys because you know those teams and I follow, but you know them better. You tell me what in the world happened. Tell me.
I mean, as I predicted last week, the wheels came off, and they're going to lose 3 or 4 more games.
Well, I feel like they just fell apart. Like, they went in, like, really confident off their comeback win to Arizona. And they came in, like, and Notre Dame had just lost to Louisville. So I was kind of worried about them going in, like, really cocky and then just getting beat. And, well, that's what happened. They just kind of weren't looking in the first half and got outscored 24-6. But in the second half, they tried to do, like, they tried to come back, but it just wasn't enough. Like, there was nothing they could really do.
So, Giuseppe, in law, there's, like, Latin maxims, and one of them is res ipsa loquitur, meaning the thing speaks for itself. So, like, the defense's extreme weakness has been in plain view all year. And Jack and I are each on the spot with our respective predictions. I think they finish 7-5, and Jack asserts
11-1, baby.
Well, I would say this and take the lesson in law there, Keith, as always. I would say this. I would say USC. I wasn't surprised either. I was a little surprised with the score, though. I anticipated Notre Dame to beat them. USC has a dynamite, explosive offense.
Not last week.
Or not in the first half, at least.
You're right. Bear with me. You're right. Last week he struggled. That was probably, at least in my view, when I've seen the highlights, because I don't watch too much USC, that was one of his, if not his worst game in college football as far as that he's played. I think he had a few 3 interceptions. So I think he struggled. But the reality of it is, their defense is so bad. No matter how good their offense is,
right.
If they want to get to a place where Lincoln Riley wants them to get to, they have to play better complementary football. They have to do better on the defensive side. And guess what? When they move over to the Big Ten and they see some of our defenses, and you'd be surprised, I think we will. Well, I believe if they maintain this type of defense mentality they have now, I think they will struggle in the Big Ten to start. But I think that loss to Notre Dame played well. And Jack, you pointed out, it was a really nice comeback from the previous week over their loss to Louisville.
But you shouldn't. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, yes, they have the best offense in the country. But, like, does Alex Grinch have blackmail evidence against Lincoln Riley? Like, why has the guy not been fired? Their defense has allowed, on average, 41 points a game. That's like the 5th worst defense. It might be the worst defense in in Division 1. Like, it's a joke. And when they get to the Big Ten, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State are gonna run all over them.
Do you feel like you need you have more to rant about on that topic, or are you ready for the next topic?
Yeah. What about moving forward with USC? What happens against Utah?
I'll go, then you guys go. Well, I'm shocked to hear again that I heard a little about Cam Rising today. I know he's been hurt, that kind of stuff. I think Utah's a different team with Cam Rising. I think he's a very good player. He's the engine behind that offense. He's been hurt, and with that, they're still maintaining a top 20 team, which is incredible. I think USC they're 7-point dogs today at home. 7-point dogs. I think they cover. I think they come out and they surprise Utah. Because I don't think Utah's going to actually play well at USC. Now, I could be wrong. I know you haven't watched enough of Utah. I know they're decent. But I think Lincoln Riley has them fired up after that loss to Notre Dame. and USC surprises Utah and wins.
And I feel like Caleb Williams is going to take like a certain amount of responsibility for the loss, and I bet this week on the practice field he's been working harder than ever with the team. And two, like Utah's offense is genuinely bad without Cam Rising. Like they've been averaging like Iowa numbers. I'm going USC 38-17.
Wow, I would have gone USC 38, 20, 28, because I'm not anticipating that they'll stop them completely. But yeah, I like your pick, Jeff. I like it.
I'm with G.
Okay, now on to our next topic, which is the fake sign stealing accusations against Michigan. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think you're leading a witness, speaking of law, because you said the fake sign stealing accusations. What I would say is, when these types of things happen, I'm a big believer in when there's smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. I've been debating this for the past day or two, and I could go on forever, but I won't. I've been debating this for the past day or two with two of my good buddies who are Michigan fans and others who are just down the middle. And to me, I understand everyone since the creation of the game and any other game, you want to try to gain a competitive advantage. I understand teams try to steal signs, etc., etc. But as far as what I've seen from an accusations perspective and how they did it regarding people in person and paying, and they've already suspended someone on their staff, I don't know exactly what's going on. I say we let the NCAA, by the way, which I'm not a fan of the NCAA, but let the investigation ensue, and let's see what happens. I will say this, though, and I'll throw it back. I'm curious what this does to Jim Harbaugh. Does he say, you know what, NCAA, I'm going to stick it to you and stay in this college game and keep winning? Or does he say, I've had enough of you guys, you're a pain in the neck, I'm leaving and going to the pro game? I wonder.
Well, I mean, I dislike the NCAA because they told the Michigan program, like, impose a 3-game suspension or will impose a 4-game suspension. And I mean, that just kind of felt like pathetic, if anything. And, well, as for the sign stealing, it's probably fake, but they threw the guy under the bus. What I always say, if it's allowed, do it. Not allowed, don't get caught. I mean, he was sloppy.
Like pulling out from the football discussion, I don't agree with. I think that in life we should do things in an ethical manner, and we should always do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may, rather than seek to slyly avoid getting busted for non-compliance.
Let me add one more quick thing, or two more. One, I'm thrilled as a Penn State fan watching this back and forth with the whole Ryan Day even hiring a private investigator to look into it. That cracks me up. And one last thing, to Jack, to your point regarding trying to get away with things and or keep behaving in an ethical manner, I will leave you with one of my favorite WWF wrestlers, Ken Patera. One of his famous sayings was, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. Next topic.
I mean, Jack and I have a long history. The WWF has long been an ethical North Star.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's the next topic, guy?
All right. Unranked Clemson against unranked Miami.
My only comment was, it's just remarkable that they're both unranked. Sweeney won't change, and Mario has not put the pieces together yet, and it's kind of a bummer because I like the U.
Yeah.
And an annoying competitive Clemson is good for college football.
I was surprised, to your point. I would have never guessed that these two teams would be unranked as Clemson in the season. I wonder if for me, if Dabo Swinney finally says, okay, you guys are right, I have to dip into the transfer portal. Because for years he talked about we don't do that. The same thing happened in basketball with Coach K and others. We will never take a 1-year and done kind of player. Then they realized if you want to maintain your competitiveness, to compete, you have to play with the same rules. Dabo Swinney will start dipping into the transfer portal, and you'll see Clemson over time get better. But this year versus Miami, I think Miami pulls it out. I hope.
I'm going Clemson here. I just feel like they have more depth on the roster. And the reason Miami hasn't been great was because Mario shows up. He's not going to get to a New Year's Six game in his first year because he has Manny Diaz's team. But he is a very good recruiter. And I predict that within 5, maybe 10 years, they will be a college football playoff team.
So with Miami, Clemson, and with Bama, Tennessee, it's, to me, they're like who cares games because they're out of it.
Yeah.
But so, I don't remember what is left on the agenda, but
Nothing.
today is the big reveal of where Penn State is. Jack and I don't agree on everything, but we agree that Ohio State is evil and must be destroyed at all costs. So we're sending you positive vibes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it as a Penn State fan. I hope those positive vibes are picked up by others and continues to grow within today. I think the noon game, while I hate the noon game, I think it's advantageous for Penn State because hopefully the crowds won't be there yet. I think Penn State has to start fast and finish fast and just keep the pressure on. I don't know. I worry. I do worry. I'm stressed. Jack, you're too young, but I'm at the. No, I want to get in it. I appreciate the well wishes, guys. Thank you.
No. Before you go, tell us this is where it gets really interesting. It's where your irrational fears drive your thinking about the game. So what memories haunt you?
So first of all, they're not irrational fears; they're rational fears.
Obviously.
Because people have experiences in life, and it stays with them. I've been at many Penn State, Ohio State games. I've been at Penn State at the watching them at the Horseshoe. I've been, of course, at Beaver Stadium. I've seen many amazing games where we've had a sack towards the end, and Tom Ali sack at the end, fumble by Smith, we pick it up. I've seen games in the past couple years with Saquon Barkley where we run the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. We have a 21-3 lead at halftime, and we lose 39-38 in the game. Last year, we had a I believe it was a 2-touchdown, if not a 10-point lead going in the fourth quarter, and we dominated the whole game last year, the whole game.
And then Ohio State ran over you.
Yeah, and then that defensive lineman had a sack fumble, a pick six. It turned around like that. So that's why I have rational fears.
Okay.
In this type of game, the game's never over. Penn State's got to keep their foot on the gas and pound them into the ground.
Go get them.
Exactly. That is it for this week. We will be back next week.